ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's episode, in the news, the Oscars slap back. We'll get to that. In trailer talk, we have the Stranger Things Season 4 trailer. It is here, and Stranger Things Season 4 is closer than you think. The new streaming list, of course, the what we're watching, and then our main review for the episode is Starship Troopers. But before we get to any of that, I'm joined today, of course, by naive Nathaniel Gingrich.
I like Starship Troopers too. I think that's got to be the porn parody, right?
There's got to be, it's got to be a thing.
Troopers, yeah.
What's up, folks?
Not gonna make it.
I'm naive Nathaniel. I don't know what's going on. I'll just believe anything.
Very hopeful.
Yeah, I'm a glass half full boy. And I only see things on the bright side.
And every time I think of Nathaniel, I just think the bright side. So positive.
And I'll go where you tell me to go. It seems like a good idea to be a citizen.
Yeah, would you become a citizen?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Is that the only way? Who says? Anyways, we'll get into it.
We will get into it. Also joining me today is Roughneck Ty, Tyler Vidalis.
Tyler's Roughneck.
Ty's rough. Vidalis rough. It doesn't ring as well.
It doesn't.
Yeah, we need a V word or change your last name.
It's all right. Yeah.
Maybe you're just a member of the Roughnecks.
Fuck it.
Redalis. There you go. Redalis is Roughnecks.
Trabajos. Terrorizers.
Yeah. There you go. Trailblazers. I don't know. There's a lot of things.
We'll just be the Trabajo.
The Trabajos.
Tyler's Trabajos. Tyler's Trabajos.
Tyler's work. Tyler's works, plural.
But you're gonna be Tyler's work.
Work. And rounding out the squadron, of course, is Big Bug BlakeHolder.
Hey, what up?
Had to fit this week. It was an easy one for me.
I kind of saw that one coming, not gonna lie, fellas, but I like it though.
Got a bug fact?
Ooh.
Right off the bat, I don't know.
Let me think.
I sprang that one on you like a trapdoor spider.
Ants, I do.
Ants,
and it has to do with their size. And I want to say that just per size and their weight, with their weight being so many milligrams or whatever it is, that they're able to carry things like 5,000 times their weight.
Yeah.
Which is like next to impossible, but that's because of their scale. So it's interesting. So because of that, they're able to carry things that are awfully heavy compared to them. They also have like next to infinite stamina as well, where they can traverse long journeys. Came across all this on YouTube as well, but those are kind of the two ant facts I have off the top of my head. But yeah.
Which begs the question. If you were going to be the superhero Ant-Man, maybe it would be preferable to just have the powers of an ant, i.e. 5,000 times your size strength. And what was the other thing you were saying?
They almost have infinite stamina.
Yeah, infinite stamina rather than just shrink down to the size of an ant. Like that seems like a better trade-off, right?
I think he would like kill anything he touches. Like you shake his hand, and, you pull back, and you.
That's
don't
why
have
he trains, bro. He's an Avenger for a reason. Come on.
Yeah, and the video I pulled that from was actually it was an ant carrying a dead frog, but the frog was obviously much larger than the ant, and that thing was just dragging
a singular ant.
A singular ant, bro.
Oh shit.
And that thing was just dragging that shit like it was a fucking kite in the wind. I was like, that's just impressive. Then I started doing research on it. And yeah, ants. They'd be scary if they were human sized, man.
Holy shit, yeah. Well, that's the thing that always freaks me out about like prehistoric times. Like all these small bugs we see now were like 6 times larger or 10 times larger. Like there was like 6 foot tall dragonflies or something like that. Like
How many ants do you think it'd take to kill you?
7.
A lot. Well, all right, do they have the
dep-
cordyceps?
I was gonna say it depends on what kind of ant,
Yeah, that too. Fire ants.
That's true.
because you can get into like
Okay.
bullet ants, which are like the most painful biting
Mhm.
ants on the face of the planet, and it's actually
Yeah.
said to be one of the most painful bites from a bug that you could possibly have,
Yeah.
and it'll just fuck you up. You get like 10 of those motherfuckers on you, you're done.
Yeah.
Sticking with my answer, 7.
7.
7.
Re-
7
Regardless
ants.
of the type. So just like regular
Yep.
black ants.
Yep, but
7
weirdly,
would be
8
good.
I can handle. Just 7.
Okay.
7 is too much.
Just
Something about the number of 7.
Yeah, it's a scary number, and they're ants. So, yeah, 8 and above,
Yeah,
totally fine. 7 though,
fair.
That's fair.
or maybe it's anything with a 7 in it. So if it was like 17 or 777, just fucked. But any other numbers, totally fine.
Is 7 like a bad luck number for you?
No, not at all. It was just the first number I thought of.
Fair.
7's actually a really lucky number for me.
Well, there you go.
So you'd be able to kill 7 ants. Is that kind of what
Well,
we're saying?
that's what makes us our Wonder Twin. He kills all ants that when they're
That
within
end in
7
And
numbers.
you can kill every other numerical value. in there?
Correct. Yeah.
That's actually the secret mission of the Trabajo Trailblazers. They go and kill ants. They're exterminators, actually. Yeah, no one knows that.
We're building in lore already, and we're off the rails already.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I know how many ants it would take to get Will Smith at 10 most likely, because Will Smith's been banned from the Oscars for 10 years.
But didn't he resign
was
from
a
the
stretch.
Academy?
I was wondering where you're going with this one, and then I was waiting for the joke.
It's a bit of a stretch, but we got there. Yes, Will Smith has been banned from the Oscars for 10 years, and yes, you are correct, Nathaniel. He did withdraw himself from the Academy.
I guess
believe
that's
that was
not
before they made that decision.
I guess it's not technically the same thing, is it? He could have still been nominated even if he's not part of the Academy.
Yes, he still can.
How do
It's
you
like when
feel
you're
about
about to get fired and your company's like, we'll let you quit.
that? Right. That's exactly what it is.
If I was Will Smith, I would just make my 10 just best fucking movies right now. And then at the end of it, make him give him one of those lifetime achievement awards that they give to Martin Scorsese or some shit.
I could very well see them doing that in 30 years.
Hmm.
And then
How old is Will Smith? It's got to be
Great
50,
question.
49, something like that. Upper 40s, lower 50s, I'd assume.
Yeah, I would say late 40s, early
53.
50s. Yeah.
53?
Born in 68.
Are you guys cool with him being banned for 10 years?
I don't give
That's
a
a long
shit.
time.
Could care less.
It is a long
regardless.
time, but how many times has he been nominated for an Oscar in the last 10 years?
I have no idea. Do you have that
I
info?
mean, I don't. I can look it up.
I can't imagine off the top of my head. Obviously, King Richard. What has he done before that?
He got
Ali's the
snubbed.
other one, I
Everyone was
think.
super upset about concussion.
I think Ali.
Okay, that's right. That's like what 2012 or something like that.
It was a bit later. I think
20
2015 or 2016 maybe.
16, I want to say.
What else? The last thing I can think of is big rolls would be 7 pounds. Shit
So
that, but that's early
I'm
2000s.
getting this from Wikipedia. His only Academy Award nominations were for Best Actor in 2002 for Ali, and 2007 The Pursuit of Happiness, and then of course 2022 for King Richard. Those have been his only nominations for an Oscar. So I don't know if he's been appearing at the Oscars for longer than that. I mean, I know there's probably people that go that don't have anything
Or
to do
he'd
with the Oscars.
present, I'm sure.
Present something like that. So realistically, how much is this going to change anything? Who knows? Because he hasn't been doing much in the last 10 years or 20 years. It looks like that really has gotten the Oscars attention anyway. So yeah, but I mean, Tyler, I think this kind of counter confirms your theory of it being fake. I don't think they would do this if it
I
was.
I have other things
God,
that I
don't
will
tell me you're gonna
not.
spin this conspiracy even further.
There
God.
are ways that I could, but I will not go into it because it gets wild.
Okay, okay. Not even worth our time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you can ask me off pod.
Okay, I'd love to. I really want to hear how Will Smith did 9/11 or something like that. That's what's
I'm
gonna get us
very
talking into.
I'm very on the term or fact that it is obviously real, but there
Yeah.
are funny things that have come up since.
Okay, okay. I definitely want to ask you off pod then because that intrigues me. Yeah, but like I said, I don't think this changes much. I also do think it's a bit of an overreaction. Like the Oscars got a lot of attention for this, as kind of Tyler brought up in his original point. They were finally talked about for the first time in a very long time. I feel like last 5 years of the Oscars have been going lower and lower in ratings. It feels like, and less buzz about them. And finally, for once, they were back on social media and like something everybody was talking about. And then to like have these repercussions against the one person who brought him all that attention feels a little bit like an overreaction, but also I do understand that there were rules set in place, especially after like the Me Too movement and stuff, is kind of what they cited as like rules they put in place against this kind of stuff, and obviously he violated those. So I don't know. I think they could have just like said like, oh, they made up, he apologized, let's move on, and this is 10 years is a long time, but
Yeah, I don't know. I'm ready to stop talking about it forever.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. In the grand scheme of things, this does not affect me very much at all. So I'm just gonna move on to something that could affect me, or at least how I use my time in the coming months. Stranger Things season 4 trailer has been released by Netflix. It's a full 4-minute trailer, pretty long. Or sorry, 3 minutes, pretty long. I see a lot in here. Seems like they've dumped quite a bit of money into this one this season, even more so than the last one. If you watch the trailer, which will be linked in the description, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. But the production seems to have increased a lot new different settings, a lot more set pieces and CGI. It seems like they're kind of going all in on these final 2 seasons here. So we have the 3-minute trailer. This season will debut. Let's see if I can find the date in the story here.
It's like May or something, right?
Yes, May 27th. And this is 3 years following season 3.
God, has it been
So it's been a
3
3-year gap since the last season. And then that's going to be volume 1 of the 4th season, and then volume 2 will debut on July 1st. So about a month gap between the two. And it will be. It doesn't say how many episodes are in each volume, and then there will be a final 5th season. That'll be the final season of the show. And that they don't really have an idea of when that will be out, but hopefully sooner than 3 years, because I can't imagine they take another 3-year gap and people still care. And also the actors are definitely not going to look anywhere close to high school age by that point. So yeah. Anyway, trailer reactions. Now, out of the 4 of us, I've seen Stranger Things. Have we all seen it? Or is Blake, have you not seen
Yeah,
it?
surprisingly, yeah, I've seen all Stranger
Yes,
Things.
that's right. That's the one thing that you were like, oh yeah, I actually have seen this one.
Mm-hmm.
So we've all seen it, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Then what is our level of excitement going into this final season and with this trailer now being released?
I'm still pretty excited. I didn't really have an issue with the other 3 seasons. I know season 2 caught a little bit of flack, and then everybody was kind of back in on season 3. I think everyone pretty much loved season 1. I haven't really talked to anybody that said they disliked it. But I think this will, hopefully they put a tidy little bow on this and call it a day. You can obviously see the kids are getting significantly older. They're like in the parts of their lives where they're all hitting that peak puberty. So, this has to get wrapped up pretty quick, but I'm still excited for it.
Yeah, and I
Nathaniel?
think they're older in universe too, right? Like they're not trying to pass them off as middle schoolers. Okay, yeah.
But also, it's only been like, I think from the first season to this season, I think canonically it's only been like 2 or 3 years, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But like it's from season 3 to season 4 is only a 6-month gap, and it's been 3 years since the last season.
Really? I'm sure in the first episode they'll be like, "We're freshmen now" or whatever, and then I can find out for
I
sure.
think that was the beat in season 3, wasn't it? Aren't they in high school already?
Maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Were they?
I
I don't know.
I think so. I think they started in high school.
Well, then they'll go, "We're juniors now" or whatever, and it'll be fine.
We're taking the SAT.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say maybe like a 7 out of 10 excitement level. I'll definitely watch it, but maybe I'll probably need a refresher, I guess.
Yeah.
Blake, where are you at?
I don't think I'm that high on it. I think we kind of talked about this when we did the teasers, where I'll probably watch it just because I've already done myself a service and watched the first 3 seasons, so I might as well go ahead and finish it up. But just with that time passing, this isn't something I was like really dying to watch anymore, So we'll see. I think it'll be interesting. The cast is awesome. We've now all seen them flourish in roles outside of Stranger Things, specifically Millie Bobby Brown. So that's her name, right? Did I get that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it'll be good. It's not something I'm like overly like, man, I can't fucking wait till March or till May 26th or whatever it is, May 29th. But I'll turn it on. I'll get to it when I get to it. I'm sure there'll be a lot of talk on social media between friends, peers, workplaces. It's definitely one of those shows that's it's going to be a movement. Ty?
I was first.
Oh, yeah, I did. I'll round it back out.
The squadron
bad.
has finished.
You're good. You're good. I don't know. I haven't thought about Stranger Things since the last season came out. It's one of those things that kind of just faded away, and I would have to rewatch the 3 seasons going into this one. It wouldn't be one that I feel like I could just jump into and remember all the story beats. And I don't know if I really want to do that. Like, I don't know if I care enough about this anymore to watch 3 seasons and then a 4th. But I'll probably end up doing so. I don't know. Maybe I'll just wait to see what the reactions are from this season. If they're really positive, which I'm sure they probably will be. Like, I don't think this will be bad. I don't.
No.
Especially after that 3rd season, they definitely recovered because the first season was incredible. It was very unique. One of those things we always talk about. We want to see new things, and this was definitely one of those. And then season 2 came out. Reception was pretty poor, especially compared to season 1. And then season 3, they definitely recovered, and people seem to enjoy that a lot. And I think they'll keep that trend going in this one. But I just don't know if I care that much, especially because they kind of killed the David Harbour character, and he's back, and I feel like it would have been better if they just killed him off. I don't know. Just would have felt more meaningful because that was a story beat that really got me. I remember like really kind of getting to me because I really loved his character, and I loved David Harbour, and like the fact that the way they sent him off in that 3rd season. I guess spoilers for Stranger Things, but well, sort of. Did kind of get to me, and then the fact that they're bringing him back, it just felt like, oh, of course they are. Like that's such a Netflix TV show thing to do. Of course they're not going to kill off a main character in that kind of way. So yeah, we'll see. I am very interested to see what this turns out to be. Anything specific from the trailers you guys want to talk about?
Soundtrack's dope.
Yeah, I did like the music they played here.
We seem to be finally coming across a main villain.
Which is hilarious to say because it's season 4.
Yeah, but I feel like that's
really
like that's true to Stranger Things as this kind of like Dungeons and Dragons like quest
Right.
thing,
Sure, that's definitely an overlying theme or underlying theme, whatever, one of the two.
I think
Underlying,
that's the
overlying.
opening scene, like in the fucking first episode, right? The pilot episode.
Yeah.
They're, like,
It's
in the basement playing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the opening scene, but it's the first episode pretty early on.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, like I said, I definitely seems like they're increasing kind of the production of this show. I don't know necessarily how much they've spent on the production, but it seems like there's a lot more settings that they're going to be in, a lot more CGI that they're going to be doing, and the CGI looks pretty good, or a little bit better than most Netflix stuff. So that's, I guess, something to look forward to because spotty CGI, especially in a show of this kind of size, would be pretty bad. So I'm excited to see where the David Harbour stuff goes. The fact that he's like in a Russian camp kind of thing. That seems kind of interesting, how he's going to get out of that, what kind of role he's going to play in this season all the way in that camp, and how he gets out, or if he gets out, like that kind of thing.
That's how they roll it into Black Widow.
It's all connected. yeah, so I guess we'll stay tuned for that. Like I said, season or volume 1 drops May 27th, and then volume 2 July 1st. All right, well, I guess we can move on to the completely subjective new streaming list for the week
Woo!
of April 10th through the 16th. For anyone who doesn't know what this list is, there's a lot of things that come to the streaming services every week, and this is my hand-selected list of the things worth checking out. To Netflix, we're getting Nightcrawler. This is the Jake Gyllenhaal joint from 2014. Blake, have you seen this? Is it good?
I have, yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay,
Um,
we're checking
great
it
I
out.
actually
movie.
think I watched that like in an ethics class in college for the first
Yeah?
time. Yeah, I like it. I would recommend it for sure.
Okay.
Great
Nathaniel?
movie.
Great movie?
Yeah.
Our Great National Parks, Season 1. This is a 5-part nature docu-series narrated by Barack Obama, who, of course, has a pretty good voice, so I'm sure that's kind of enjoyable, and we're all for nature docs here. So,
Do you
might
think
be
he
worth checking out.
points when he narrates as well too? You know how
I
like
could-
Well,
I could
you
see
remember
it.
you got to remember he doesn't point. It's more of like a thumb.
well,
it's,
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yes, 100%.
I think well, like he always did it for like emphasis, right? Like or like keep him
Yeah.
on beat. Like I wonder if he would there, or maybe that's just a speech thing.
Maybe. I think I would love this series if like I could have like a little square in the bottom right corner of Barack Obama reading this, and like see how he's talking.
Like
I
a
think
live
that'd be more
cam?
entertaining.
Sure.
Yeah, like a live cam of his narration. Yeah, that'd be fun. And then also coming to Netflix, Ouija: Origin of Evil.
I think
Now,
that's
I've
the
seen
good
the
one.
first Ouija. Yeah, I've seen the first Ouija. This is not the first one because the first one I think is 2014 or 2015.
Oh, yeah, one of them's by Flanagan. I think this one's by Flanagan.
I was gonna say I think this is
I
the good
believe
one.
it is.
Yeah. This one's not bad.
Okay. 'Cause
Same
that's why I
cast.
put it on here.
most
I was
part.
like, I know it's not the first one. The first one's
Yeah, it is
pretty bad.
Flanagan.
I've seen it. But I remember everyone kind of thinking the second one was actually better than the first, which is not something you see every day. So if you want another horror flick, or you've checked out every single one on Netflix, like I'm sure Blake has, Origin of Evil coming in to Netflix. Amazon Prime is getting Knives Out. This actually came to Amazon Prime last week, but I somehow missed it. I had to change my list that I was getting it from because I was like, I don't like how this is formatted, so I changed the website. And turns out the other website didn't even have this listed, so threw it on there. Hulu's not getting anything, neither is HBO Max, and Disney Plus is getting Moon Knight Episode 3, which is out already. And then Raven's Home Season 5? I don't know. I didn't know this was a show, and so I was shocked to see that this is the 5th season, but this is like a That's So Raven sequel.
Oh,
A single mother, Raven Baxter, raises her children along with her friend Chelsea. Things take a turn when Raven's son starts showing psychic abilities. And this is the 5th season.
I never watched that. So Raven.
Oh, really? That was one of my favorites going on.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, Disney Channel.
Yeah, wasn't that Disney Channel? I don't know
Yep.
if we like stopped getting the Disney Channel or something, but I missed like all of that, like even Stevens and all of that stuff. But yeah. Sorry to break it to you.
Zoe 101 was awesome. One of my favorite shows. Was that? No, that was Nickelodeon.
That was
right?
Nickelodeon.
Or was
Yeah.
that Disney?
That was Nickelodeon.
Oh man. Yeah.
Tyler, did you watch That's So Raven?
I have.
You had 4 sisters, so.
I did. I do.
I did.
That was pretty dark.
They all joined
Yeah.
the mobile infantry.
Yeah, right? Okay. Well, that is it for the new to streaming list here. We can get into what we're watching. I guess we can start off with Moon Knight. I still haven't caught up. I plan on doing so soon. Nathaniel, Ty, have you guys been keeping up?
I've not seen episode 3 yet.
Okay.
Have I seen episode 3?
Came out like
So-
yesterday, I think.
Then no, because I typically
Or today, one of the two.
I don't catch up on my shows until usually probably Friday.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I have not watched that, and I have not watched Halo.
Well then, yeah, I actually haven't seen. I've only seen the first episode of Halo. I haven't caught up
But
on that.
Episode
but-
3 of Halo and episode 2 of Moon Knight, sick.
Okay. I'll report back to you when I get to them. What else have you been watching then, Ty? If not Halo or
Yeah, I can go. I actually just finished my list because I was like, oh shit, my list. I'm always like in the beginning of the week, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm gonna write this down, and then I'm like halfway in the movie, and then I just completely forget, and then I get here, and I'm like, what the did I watch?
yeah, no, I know how that goes.
So yeah, I actually kept with last week's theme. I watched Blade 2.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's always a good fun one to get back to. Hats off to Guillermo. This is typically the one that more people like. But one is still a really good flick. And I think I'm on that boat too. I think 2 is just a better movie all around, but I really do thoroughly enjoy 1. And then I gotta rewatch 3 because it catches a lot of flack, and it's really not that great, but it's really also not that bad. So I'll probably get around to that at some point. I finished the first season of Vikings Valhalla, which it's a recommend. I think it's been really good so far.
How many
And,
episodes was that?
8 or 10, something in there.
Okay.
But you don't really need to know anything about the previous
That
show.
was what I was about to ask is like,
Yep.
could I just jump into Valhalla?
Yeah, you can just jump into this. Pretty much a whole new storyline. They pretty much tell you, like, right in the first few episodes that this is, I think, like 100 years after the first season, or I mean the first show. So, or I guess Ragnar Lothbrok, he's like the main character in the original one. So it's like 100 years after him, essentially, because they talk about like his legacy and his kids and stuff like that. So, yeah, I actually really liked it a little bit more towards the end than what I was originally, which, so I'm glad I stuck with it. But yeah, I like it a lot. They definitely keep it the theme, and it's pretty interesting the way they kind of go through things. So the other thing I got to was The King's Man.
Oh, what'd you think?
Which one is that?
Third one?
The
Latest one.
prequel.
That's
The
latest one,
third
right?
Yes.
third one prequel.
I haven't gone back to watch those. I've only seen the first one, and I really didn't enjoy it. And I don't know if I will.
I really like The Kingsman. I don't care for the second one a whole lot. And then this one was pretty good.
Okay.
So I'm not mad at it. It's definitely a recommend for me. So good acting, good writing, but I thoroughly enjoy it. Really good action, which is what you usually pretty get from those movies for the most part. But I like it a lot. I got around to a pretty random movie. I was talking to Nathaniel about this, but I didn't even really know this movie existed until I was just kind of scrolling through the deeper workings of Amazon, and I ended up finding a movie called The Lost City of Z.
Yes.
And I think it's 2016, somewhere in there. And Charlie Hunnam, R-Pats, Tom Holland.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a wildly weird
That's
cast.
interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's.
I feel
Yeah,
like
listing off names, and I was like, huh?
I feel like it was
Yeah.
like one of the
Then I heard of
first
this.
Amazon movies. Like, and that's why
What's it called?
The Lost City of Z.
I just
I'm going to
googled it.
watch list that. Yeah, the Lost City.
So it's not terrible. It's essentially Charlie Hunnam is like a major in the army, but they say it pretty weirdly, so I don't really know. Somebody in the movie says he has a bad choice in ancestors. So when he says choice, I feel like it's because of the chick he married, but they don't really allude to it too much. But anyways, he's a pretty decorated major, but he never gets the respect because of that fact. So they essentially end up sending him on like this, like explorer, like it's a legit, like you're just gonna sail over there and like, we just need you to explore. We don't really know what's going on over there. So he ends up like sailing. Arpats is his companion, and they stumble across like pottery and like all this stuff in like the jungle, like the middle of the jungle, and they're like coming into contact with like different tribes and like people that don't know English. So it's like very like first time seeing like a white person and like somebody that may have like technology and like not like arrows, they have guns. So it's this really weird kind of dynamic. But then Charlie Hunnam essentially comes back and he's like, we have to continue to explore. And so they're like in this big room and he's like on a podium, and he's explaining this adventure he had, and they're like, "How dare you suggest that there was civilization before the white man?" And like, "How dare you even think that like there's anybody that could have any kind of deep thought over there in the jungle? Like, you're crazy." And then the other half of the room is like, "No, this guy might be onto something. Like, he found pottery and he's got evidence. Like,
Right.
I don't know, man." So then he
That's
ends up
interesting.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I didn't mind it. He ends up getting funded and all this stuff to do like another exploration. Later in the movie, his son is Tom Holland. He never really sees his son because he's always out exploring, and so Tom Holland essentially grows up without his dad. But then his dad comes back and he gets injured at some point, so he has to stay home. So they kind of grow to have this relationship, and sooner or later, Tom's like, "I want to be like you, Dad. I want to explore." So then they go explore together.
Okay.
But yeah, I was not expecting to see him. Like I was like, "What the heck is he doing here?"
Right.
But it's not a terrible movie.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna add that one to the watch list.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. But that's all I got. I ain't got nothing else. Nathaniel?
Yeah, I can go next. I got to actually quite a bit this week, I would say. One of which was Blake will know this. I got to the movie Mama from 2013.
Nice.
Okay. Was that your first watch?
It was actually, yeah.
Do you like it?
I did, yeah. I did like it. Thank you, Tyler. I did like it overall, I would say. It's definitely not a predictable movie. I would say that. And that was by Andy Muschietti, who obviously went on to direct It Chapter 1 and 2 as well, too. Yeah. And you could definitely see like the Guillermo influence as well, too. He was a producer on that. So, yeah. That's on Netflix, I want to say. So check that out if you want a good ghost.
Cool monster
movie.
design as well.
Yeah. And
Which
I didn't realize that was Jamie Lannister in that movie. No. Obviously, like when it first came out, I hadn't watched Game of Thrones yet. But yeah, him in the leading role, and then Jessica Chastain in the kind of other lead role as well, too. Two really solid actors, and good movie.
That's PG-13 too, as well, right? Like surprisingly, isn't it?
Maybe I didn't. Yeah. I honestly didn't check.
And I think that kind of makes it that much better in the horror community because it's like you go in with like really low expectations on first watch.
If it's PG-13, it's like Insidious level PG-13. Where
Definitely.
It could easily be like R for like it's just fucking scary.
Yeah. I just googled it's PG-13.
Wow. Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely. Cool. I'm happy about that. But yeah, another thing I got into was a docuseries called Q Into the Storm. I had seen it last year, I want to say. I might have even talked about it on pod, but it's basically this guy tries finding out who the person behind QAnon is, and then discovers it's probably a psychopathic dude who runs 8chan, or who runs, 8chan. So, yeah, it's really good. Really kind of depressing in some ways, but and kind of interesting because you can just see more and more how like fractured or how like the fractures of society that we're seeing now started in a very just pretty much from the internet and all that kind of good stuff. So fun if you want to watch something that makes you kind of understand maybe why everything is the way it is right now a little better. But also kind of depressing for that reason. So make of that what you will. On the kind of opposite side of that in Brainwaves, I also watched 300 this week. So you guys, you've all had to have seen that, right?
What is it?
300?
300.
Yes, I have seen that one. Sorry.
Blake, you've seen it?
Yeah, I have. I've seen it.
Okay, yeah. And Tyler's AFK right now. But yeah, so like every mid-2000 bros favorite movie. But I hadn't seen it in probably 5 years, maybe even longer. So it was a fun one to go back to. And still very silly, but still looks cool. So that I watched Bo Burnham's Inside again, for the first time in a while. I would say it's probably been 8 months or so, maybe. I think it was like July.
Still holds up. Still so good.
Yeah, still really good.
Oh my god.
I watched 3 episodes of a show on Apple TV called Severance. Has anyone else been hearing anything about that at all?
I feel like I have heard a little bit about it, but I don't know like anything about it. If that makes sense.
So far, every episode's been directed by Ben Stiller, but it seems to be his show. I think I'm not really sure, but it stars Adam Scott from Step Brothers and Parks and Recreation, and a host of other really good actors as well too. Excuse me, but. Yeah, it's really good. The kind of concept is like he works in an office where they have done a procedure called severance, which is they implant a chip in your brain. So when you go into work, you forget who you are and you just remember that you work there. And then when you leave, you forget where you work and what you did that day. And so you have these kind of 2 separate lives, one of who is
I
just...
forgot where I heard about this. Actually, no, it was another podcast I listened to.
Gotcha.
That sounds scary, but actually like pretty cool too.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I would say it's been very well done so far. There's definitely other things like going on in the background. I have a friend who has requested that I write up little essays about each episode, so I'm slowly working on that as well too. So maybe I'll send some in the group chat. But yeah, so far definitely really cool. I will definitely keep watching. So I'm excited for that. And then the last thing I got to this week besides Starship Troopers was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Please tell me how that is. I've heard so much about it. And also, do you know where I can find it as far as like watching it?
I saw it in theaters at AMC.
Looking up the show times right now.
Nice plug.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely playing there. It is a
Ragtag Cinema has it.
There you go. But it's directed by 2 guys who both name is Daniel, so they collectively go by the Daniels. It's starring Michelle Yeoh. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, but is the gentleman who I most know from playing Short Round in Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom. But he is awesome in this as well. Jamie Lee Curtis is in this movie in quite a lot of areas. It's I really wonder if how Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness is going to compare to this, because it kind of follows in a similar footstep of jumping between dimensions and universes and all that kind of thing. It all works really well. It's dynamic. It's funny. It's wild. I definitely recommend going and seeing it for sure. But yeah, that is my stuff for this week. Blake, what'd you get to?
Okay. I guess just because you brought up Everything Everywhere All at Once, I'll kind of dive into a few things and dive into my list. So nonetheless, this weekend I had one of my best friends. It was her birthday. Shout out Jessica. So we went out for like lunch and we did that stuff. And nonetheless, there's a group of her friends, her sister and her sister's husband. So obviously her brother-in-law. Nonetheless, I was talking to him. And he's into photography, right? He kind of does freelance photography and things of that nature. So we start talking about movies, cinematography.
Has he seen Get
things
Out?
Of that nature.
And is he worried?
No. So
that's the only photographer I know.
Yeah. So nonetheless, he ends up bringing up Everything. What is it? Everything Everywhere All at Once, or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to butcher the title. So he ends up bringing that up, and I was like, oh yeah, I saw that one. I didn't see it, but I saw the trailer being distributed by A24, kind of so on and so forth. So me and him had a long talk about movies and things of that nature. He was like, yeah, that's one I'm trying to get to, and he was actually going to see it later that day. So shout out to him, shout out to Alex. So I'm wondering how that went. So when you said that definitely sparked my interest in it again. And then also another fun fact, when I was speaking to Alex, just talking about a ton of movies, we end up kind of going into horror. That's probably just because I can't help but bring that up. But then nonetheless, he was just talking about how things are shot in older movies and how like he likes like the grainy filter and things of that nature. And he ends up bringing up High Tension, and he was like, I have a movie for you that you've never seen before, but it's a French horror movie.
That's
And then he
amazing.
says High Tension. I was like, I've seen that movie and I love it. He was like, you're the first person I've met in real life who's seen this movie before. So it was a super cool lunch. So that was like the highlight. Shout out Jessica, one of my best friends, but her brother-in-law was the highlight of the lunch for me because me and him had a great combo for a few hours.
I actually have a whole podcast episode about it.
yeah. So that's funny, and I wanted to read that to Adam too because Adam fucking hated that movie.
Very much.
So yeah, that's funny on that. In terms of what I watched, I'll get to that. So actually, I think I got to a decent amount. I started it with Deep Water, so that's the Hulu joint with Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas, I believe is how you pronounce her last name. It was okay, you know.
I think it's Darmus.
Possibly, yeah. I didn't pull it up at all. I was just thinking.
I don't know for sure.
Thank you for confirming. You know,
I think I know what you're talking about though. She was in No Time.
She was in No Time to Die. Yes, she's in No Time to Die. She's also in Blade Runner 2049. Nonetheless, watch that. Pretty good. It's kind of I feel like between watching fucking American Psycho fresh and that and back to back weeks, like I've recycled like a gentleman serial killer movie. You know what I mean? So it was like really weird. But it's good. Ben Affleck plays a distraught husband. Nothing crazy, nothing groundbreaking. If you want to see Ben Affleck in a distraught husband role, just watch Gone Girl. And that's actually the next movie I watched after that. I just put on Gone Girl because I'm like, I should just watch Gone Girl. It's a much better movie. So then I put that on next. And that was the first time I watched that in several years, I'd say. It's probably been about 3 or 4 years. And yeah, that movie's awesome, man. That movie's really good. Ben Affleck's awesome. Is it Rosamund Pike? Is that her name?
Yeah, Rosamund Pike.
Yeah, she's awesome. Overall, just good movie, man. It's not too long, but the suspense is perfect.
Also has Neil Patrick Harris, who is in Starship Troopers.
He is. You're right.
You're
definitely right. Yeah. Because I was watching that and I was like, I just fucking saw this guy when I was watching Starship Troopers, but I couldn't pinpoint what it was back to. But you're definitely right. It's Gone Girl. So yeah, that's funny. Nonetheless, got to that awesome movie. I'm sure most of you have seen that. It's now almost 8 years old. So time's flying on that. After that, I end up watching Terminator and Terminator 2.
Wow, man, you had a weekend. This is
dude. Yeah. So I got to a lot. So I watched T1 and T2. T2's within like my top 10 movies all time. That's a lot of people's fucking top sequel of all time. Phenomenal movie. James Cameron. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. I'm sure we'll get that on the podcast one day. Self-explanatory, phenomenal movie. I also got to Gerald's Game.
Okay.
So just kind of, I banged out a lot of shit this weekend, man.
Okay.
So I got to Gerald's Game. First time I've seen that as well.
Oh, it was your first time?
First time, dude.
Okay.
First time. It's okay. Not my favorite Flanagan.
Yeah.
He uses a lot of the same actors in every movie.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of the same cast in every movie.
Yeah.
A lot of the same setups. The way he does Ghost and stuff are the same in every movie. Where I do like that in every show for that matter.
For sure.
Black Manor. So I do like it, but now I'm kind of like, I think I'm gonna have to take a step back. I got to stop watching so much Flanagan.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But still, overall, good movie for the premise of it. I believe it's based off a Stephen King book.
It is.
So yeah, it's good for what you get. It's a very suspenseful movie. I mean, there's 3 characters in the whole movie.
I remember the ending of that one being kind of like the letdown. You're just like, wait, that's what happened? Wait, really?
Yeah. So it's okay. Not my favorite Flanagan movie by any means. Probably not even in my top 5. And then to finish it off, along with Ty, I watched Blade 2. And there's one of those things like, how can I not watch Blade 2 after watching the first Blade?
Facts.
And, yeah, awesome movie. I love that movie more than I enjoy the first one, and I enjoy the first one thoroughly. So that's what I got to. And then Starship Troopers, fellas. So That's my list. Adam?
Yeah, I didn't get to much this week. Busy week at school, and then also Halo. A lot of what I do nowadays. We got to Ozark, more Ozark. Finished season 1. Excited for to get into season 2, because the season 2 is when like they kind of play up the scale a little bit more, and they introduce some more characters that are definitely a little bit more menacing and more present throughout the show. And then tension just ramps up from here. So I'm very excited to keep going with that. And the other thing I got to, which I'm surprised didn't get mentioned before me, the Australian Grand Prix.
Oh, well, yes, of course. The
That's
12 a.m.
Yeah, of course. But what a good race. That was fun to watch. Unfortunate, once again, for your boy Max Verstappen, who had another DNF.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes, unfortunately, when you get new cars and you got to re-engineer everything, and, DNFs do happen, but a lot of season left.
Definitely.
Am I correct
Yeah,
that they're still using a Honda engine in there? Like they're still...
Yeah.
So I did look this up because you got me wondering, because we were talking about it.
Yeah.
So Honda has officially pulled out of F1 completely.
Okay.
Per their contract with Red Bull, they are still technically Honda engines because they are supporting them for their contract, but they do not have Honda names on them. They are Red Bull power units. So they are technically Red Bull, but they're still Honda parts. They're still Honda engines. They are still supporting them until Red Bull can essentially get their facilities together, get the engineering behind it to essentially take over to be able to manufacture those parts and be able to support it by themselves.
Interesting.
Yes.
So not a lot of urgency for Honda to really keep trotting their best stuff out there. Yeah. Did you stay up and watch it, Adam, or did you tape it?
I did. I actually was watching Starship Troopers, and I checked the time, and I was like, oh wait, the Australian Grand Prix starts in 15 minutes. So I had like 40 minutes left in this, and then it finished, and I just booted up the F1 Grand Prix and watched the rest of that.
Adrenaline to adrenaline, huh?
Yeah, it was yeah, exactly. Starship right into Formula One. It was a great transition. So yeah, I caught most of that race. I didn't see the start, but I didn't really need to. I mean, it felt like Leclerc led that race since qualifiers, and no one was gonna touch him. So that's kind of the story of that one.
He's looking good, man.
Definitely.
A 1-2-1 to start the season.
Incredible, looking incredible. Glad to see Mercedes got a little bit of bounce back. I mean, obviously that DNF from Verstappen helped him out a little bit. Perez, got Red Bull some points though, coming in P2. Good for him. But yeah, that Leclerc and that Ferrari, man, I don't know how they're gonna anyone's gonna stop him. Like
McLaren moved up the track a little bit too. They got.
Oh yeah,
6,
I know.
7.
I saw. Was it Norris P6, Ricardo P5?
Ricardo was P7, I want to say.
Okay, so I knew they both got points, but yeah, then that's good.
5 and 6.
Yeah,
Was it 5 and 6? Okay, sorry.
Ricardo was 5 or 6.
My B. Sorry, Danny.
Norris finished first, but I think they finished 5, 6.
Leclerc, Perez, Russell, Hamilton. I think Ricardo, Norris, or Norris, Ricardo.
Oh no, it would have been 6 and 7 because it was Leclerc, Checo,
Russell.
Oh yeah, Russell did. Yeah, Russell did. Okay, yeah, then it would have been 5 and 6.
We could easily look it up, but we refuse to. This is not an F1 podcast. Get fucked.
Yeah. No, it was 5, 6.
Okay. So yeah, good for them to get kind of bounce back a little bit there. Alex Albon got points barely
from P20 to P10.
Yeah,
just kept it out on the track.
You ran the whole race.
I love it.
Tires.
I love it, man. They should be doing more shit like that.
He skirted away with a P10. He should have dropped even further, but good for him. Finally, Williams getting some points. So, yeah, this season's gonna be really good. But like I said,
which I did not know.
Ferrari looks insane.
I did not know until this last season of Drive to Survive is that the tents in the pit row are actually set up in what order the last season's teams finished in. So if you're Williams, Haas, or like Alfa Romeo, or
you're
whatever,
always in the front of the pit lane. versus the front.
Yeah, you're always at the very, very back. So, like, even if you do just score 1 point, like, that can move you up the line significantly,
Sure.
you know, on good
Yeah,
user badges.
it plays out as far as not having to deal with traffic when you're coming out, not so much as
Yeah.
coming in. So being at the very end of the pit lane, you see a lot less traffic potentially, depending on where you come in at. So you don't have to necessarily skirt around other teams when they're coming in and out.
Which, yeah, was cool and makes sense for why Williams should be doing more kind of crazy stuff to try and get some points. I like it. I like the ideas here, boys. It's gonna be a fun season. That's all I'm saying. Oh, I think
Should've put-
actually we're losing the crew here, so we're gonna pause for station identification. You're listening to Smooth Jazz, KYOT, the Coyote, on BRB Radio. And we're back from station identification. Go ahead and take it away, Adam. What were you saying?
You were about to say something, I thought.
I finished that statement. It was that it was going to be a good season of F1.
Yes. And I forgot what I was going to say. I think it was just talking about Charles Leclerc. Oh, yeah, I was going to say I definitely should have put money on him at plus 500 before the season started, and I'm regretting not doing so. So I was looking at the odds for Drivers' Championship.
Yeah,
before
but
the season started, couldn't decide who to put money on. Decided not to put money on anyone, and then I was like, maybe I should just put money on Charles. Maybe Ferrari's having a bit of a comeback season, and then here we are 3 weeks later, five weeks later, whatever it is, and you know what? I'm eating shit for it. So,
well, that's gambling, isn't it?
yeah, there you have it. There you have it. Anyway, we can move into our review here. So, Nathaniel, if listener here is new, or maybe they've just forgotten, can you give them a rundown of how our review segment works?
What up, folks? If you are new or if you've just forgotten, maybe you're coming back, in which case, hey, we missed you. The way the review segment here works on Back Row Banter is it is broken down into 2 sections. There's the non-spoiler section, and then there's the spoiler section. It's pretty self-explanatory. In the non-spoiler section, we'll go over the IMDb summary of the page, IMDb summary of the movie and its page. We'll go around the circle and talk about our initial feelings and reactions to it, and then we'll also have to say whether we would recommend this movie. It has to be a yes or no. There is no nuance on the internet. From then on, we're going to play the spoiler sound. If you don't want to have anything spoiled for you, get out, but come back. There'll be times in the show notes for when you can come back. And when we're in the spoiler section, we're going to spoil everything, and we're going to get into our deeper thoughts of the movie itself. And when you do all come back, we'll rank it up on our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything we've watched on the podcast. Ranked. Adam, tell me about Starship Troopers.
I would love to. This was made in 1997, a long, long time ago, about 25 years at this point, which is kind of wild. Rated R with a runtime of 2 hours and 9 minutes and an IMDb rating of 7.3 out of 10, which I wish was higher because I really enjoyed this movie, but we'll get to that in a second here. Directed by Paul Verhoeven, who has done quite a bit.
RoboCop. Yep.
Is probably his biggest other thing. Still doing stuff somewhat recently. He's got a TV miniseries, it looks like, in pre-production. Benedetta. What is this?
That's still
This was
on.
2022.
Yeah, that's about a horny nun, and it is available on
Ah.
Hulu, but it is actually hidden. You have to search for it. It will not pop up in like any recommendations. Apparently, because it's an NC-17 movie about a horny nun.
Interesting. Okay. And then he also did Total Recall, the original.
He sure did.
So that kind of, the RoboCop and Total Recall kind of makes sense for if you've seen this movie. Kind of
For sure.
similar themes and similar aesthetics and all that. Written by Edward Neumeyer.
That's
that how I pronounce
Newmeyer.
Neumeyer. I apologize. And Robert A. Heinlein. They kind of worked with Verhoeven on RoboCop. It seems like, I don't know if Total Recall. No, it just seems like a lot of RoboCop stuff is what they've also been doing.
Well, Heinlein
And
wrote the
then-
book.
Okay. I did not know that. Heinlein wrote the book. That would also make sense. The cast includes Casper Van Dien, Denise Richards, Dina Meyer, Jake Busey, Neil Patrick Harris, and I'll just go with Clancy Brown and Patrick Muldoon, I would say, are probably the biggest ones here. I guess you could go Michael Ironside as well.
The great Michael
name.
Ironside, I would absolutely
Yes,
call
of
out.
course. And Dean Norris from Breaking Bad, as most people would probably recognize him, is in this too. That's kind of your main cast there. Solid cast for sure. They all do great in this movie. The IMDb summary reads as follows: humans in a fascist, militaristic future wage war with giant alien bugs. Okay, you know what? I don't know if there's a one-sentence summary of what this movie includes, and and that just about does it, I would say. So cool.
What more do you need?
Decent summary. What more do you need? I mean, that is this movie when you boil it down to, what is that, 10 words? So yeah, I mean, I don't know how much. Like I said, it's hard to kind of fill this in. It's sci-fi-esque.
It's definitely
but
sci-fi.
also-
Definitely
yeah,
sci-fi.
definitely sci-fi, but also has like a 50s 50s sci-fi aesthetic, almost like 50s 60s aesthetic. It's very unique, and I love it personally. I really like it. But yeah, they live in a future. It doesn't really give us a year how far ahead in the future this is, but humans have, intergalactic travel, but still reside on Earth primarily, and they've been getting bothered by a giant alien bug race all the way across the galaxy.
They've been flinging
And the-
asteroids at him.
There's tossing rocks across the galaxy with pinpoint precision, and threatening Earth, and so they decide to declare a war against the bugs and wipe them out. That's all I'll say there. The cast is overall pretty young. I mean, they just got out of school before they enlist for the troopers, for what is the Federation, something, Galactic
Yeah.
Federation, yeah, something like that. So the cast is pretty young, kind of that kind of story, like you see the boot camp, all that kind of stuff. But that's enough about what the movie is. I think you kind of get the gist there. Blake, you also were a first-time watcher, correct?
Yeah, I was.
What are your thoughts here, man?
Honestly, so Bruce, before we get to spoilers, I liked it. I'm surprised I've never seen this movie, to be completely honest with you. Like once
I
I
am
sat
too,
down and
actually.
started watching it, yeah, I'm like, this is definitely something that like these are the type of movies that like when you have like a sleepover with your buddies in like 8th grade, like this is the type of shit you put on.
Older brother
So
movies, man.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd never come across this movie, but definitely like once we kind of started to get it rolling, and Nathaniel was like, "I think you guys will find this as a good successor to Blade." Like once it started getting rolling, I was like, I could see that. It's like a '90s movies to the core. So overall, I liked it for sure. Had a ton of fun. It's awesome. The honestly, I think the effects hold up pretty well for being a 25-year-old movie. To be
Incredibly
completely
well.
honest with you,
Like,
yeah.
it's insane how like I didn't feel like that detracted from the experience at all. This is probably actually like the best 90s CGI I feel like has aged that anything I've seen.
Jurassic
I
Park.
Yeah.
don't know anything that looks
I will-
better and is held up as well.
Terminator 2.
I will wager you T2, and I will wager you Jurassic Park.
But nonetheless,
Both very
definitely up there,
valid,
though,
both
to
very
Adam's
valid.
point.
Yes, but up there for sure.
Yeah.
Which
So
the bugs in this were actually designed by the same guy who designed the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. So there you go.
Well, I think nature
Okay.
designed the dinosaurs, but that's here nor
Sure.
shout out Mother Nature.
Sorry, I'll
Um,
give my master's degree back.
there.
But yeah, no, man. Overall, really fun movie. Surprised I've never seen it. Yeah, it's got a lot of sci-fi elements to it. I guess even kind of a little bit like of maybe not body horrors, maybe not the right word, but it's gory, right? I guess that's probably the better word I'm
Yeah.
looking for. So like
Very
that
visceral.
was also pretty entertaining to me as well. And yeah, man, good popcorn movie. I would say I would recommend. I'll pass it on to somebody else.
Yeah, as the other person who watched this for the first time, which is less surprising than Blake, I would say, since I haven't seen a lot of movies that I probably should. But I absolutely love this. I had such a blast from beginning to end. Like the opening kind of like propaganda bit to like the end. How does this movie even? Oh yeah, but to the end of the movie, and then all those like bits of propaganda in between or news flashes in between. Like there's so much in this movie that I really loved. And while on its surface it could just be kind of seen as like a silly sci-fi movie, I do think there's a lot of like very smart satire mixed into this that for me makes it very enjoyable. And you can either take that if you want it, or you can just enjoy it for what it is, which is kind of just a fun sci-fi movie and with fun characters and a good storyline, and also some like gore and silliness in that regard. But like it's just a very unique and odd movie. Like I haven't seen a lot like this where it's gory and visceral, but also silly, and also like a high school romance movie, and but also an
Right.
action movie, and takes place on another planet with like giant weird bug creatures, which is cool. Like,
Clindathu.
Clindathu, which is awesome. Yeah.
Planet K, I think.
Something like that. Yeah. Or Planet P, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's Planet P. And
Planet
then
P.
And then Clindathu. Yeah, it's such an odd mixture of everything, and it works so well, and I think that's very impressive. But the most impressive part for me, for sure, is just kind of the underlying messages of the film, and like the satirical way they're talking about kind of the military and going to war and all that kind of stuff. Like looking into that, this was very cool to watch for me. And like I said, you can take it or leave it for if you want to like look into that more, because I think it's there if you want it, and if you don't want it, there's still entertainment for you here. And so I really enjoyed it aesthetically. Like I said, the CGI is great, but also I do love these aesthetic of the movie as far as like their uniforms, how the guns and the ships and everything looks, or like their high school, like the football at the beginning of the movie. Whatever
Yeah, that was pretty
futuristic,
cool.
Like, yeah,
Whatever
like
sport they're
that
playing.
was just
It's,
super fun.
It's called jump ball.
Jump ball. Well,
Yeah.
That was
I
cool.
want to play jump ball because they're just wrecking people, and you can just do whatever you want apparently.
Yeah, it's a mixture of football rules, some rugby, and then obviously there's a high level of gymnastics in there.
Apparently, yeah.
Like people
that
doing
was-
like flips over people and shit.
Yeah.
Flip 6-3 hole, baby. I'm one. Let's go.
That's the other thing in this movie. You talk about the flips and stuff. Like, there's a lot of like really good choreography as far as like that kind of movement and action and the flips, but also some of the fighting and like some of the training scenes as well have some good like jumping and flipping and choreography and stuff. And it's just a weird aesthetic thing to kind of put into this movie, but it also, again, is just like a weird choice that just works. Like you just kind of accept it. Like in this futuristic world, I guess everyone is just super limber and super coordinated and can do all that stuff, which is kind of cool as well. Nathaniel, Ty.
Ty, you want to go?
I mean, if you know me, you know that this is a movie that has been in my life for quite some time. This is truly a Big Brother movie for me. I don't know where Justin found it at, but Justin introduced it to me, and it's been something that we've shared for quite some time. But it's easily got the great one-liners. Like you guys said, the special effects definitely stand up. And if you don't want to watch it for the neo-fascist satire that's completely just throughout the entire movie, it is just absolutely a great popcorn movie to just turn on for the action. The story's great. I've actually never read the book.
I kind of want to now, though.
I do too. It's been something that I've been always pondering on after I watch the movie, and then I just kind of forget about it. But yeah, man, I've easily seen this movie over 50 to 75 times. It's definitely something that is near and dear to my heart, and I love every second of it, and you can't tell me otherwise.
No, I respect it. This is 90s movie, man. I like it.
Right.
Nathaniel,
Yeah, I
fairly recent.
yes, I am. I actually watched this for the first time with you, and I think we were recording the podcast at the time, and might have been an early episode or so, but it was on my
Very
what
early.
we're watching list for a week. But yeah, so this is the second time I have seen this movie, and I think it's quite literally a masterpiece. Like,
Right.
it is a movie that is so perfect in its two faces, basically, in that it is a movie which is a completely functional, rip-roaring action flick which if you take barely a second to look any deeper than, is just the most biting, acerbic satire of like a military world and of, you know, what the right wing thinks it wants, basically. And I think it's so perfect in that, and then it becomes like, if you look at it that way, it becomes this kind of critique of the, you know, the Hollywood movie in and of itself too, I think, as well. But yeah, it's incredible. I'm such a huge fan. I think, as everyone has said, I think, or in kind of echoing our talk last week, it's in terms of Blade, it's kind of purposeful leaning into its style saves the effects and saves some of the hokiness in some ways, because it is so it's like, all right, we're not just going to be a gritty futuristic sci-fi movie, we're going to be the most sci-fi futuristic, you know, war movie that we can be. And so yeah, I think it because of its style, because of its dedication to itself and to its genre, those effects and those things that we view now as like have aged poorly in other films really still work very, very well in this. And, you know, as Adam said too, a lot of it's practical. There's so many practical effects in this too. Yeah. And it just goes to show that more of that blend really works better than just, you know, a bunch of actors with their props and then green screen behind them. And
Marvel.
And you're just doing everything. Not Marvel, DC, and you know,
sure.
Warner Brothers.
Everyone's
doing it right now.
Yeah,
But
no,
Marvel,
I shouldn't just blame Marvel. It's everybody.
Marvel definitely catches the most flack for it, I think, and deservedly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think this movie's incredible. Big old recommend from me.
Definitely recommend here. I think that's a recommend all around. Correct.
Yeah.
100%.
1,000%. It's also streaming. It's on streaming on Hulu and Netflix right now. I said last week it was only on Hulu, but Just Watch Misguided Me. It's also on Netflix. So you probably have access to at least one of those two. So go check it out. It's 2 hours, but I wish it was a TV show. And I think they did make one. I don't know how good it is, but I wish I could watch more and more of this.
There are four other movies.
Are there? Holy shit. Okay.
They're not great.
Yeah, the second one I just saw has a 3.5 star rating on IMDb.
Yeah. So there's Starship Troopers 2, which is Hero of the Federation. Starship Troopers 3, Marauder. There's a Starship Troopers Traitor of Mars, and then there's also Starship Troopers Invasion.
Okay. Maybe I don't need to see those if they're getting those low ratings.
You are perfectly fine with just sticking with this.
I'll just rewatch this then every time I want to revisit this because it's awesome. It's awesome.
And the TV show ran from 1999 to 2000. It's called Roughnecks: The Starship Trooper Chronicles.
Okay.
Rico's Roughnecks.
Well, anyway, if you have not seen Starship Troopers and you do not want it spoiled for you, go ahead and check the episode description where I've left a timestamp you can jump to, where you'll be taken to our ranking of the movie up upon the Entropy list.
Up upon.
Spoilers.
Shit goes
Shit
down.
goes down. On Klendathu.
On
Do you want to know
Klendathu.
more?
Would you like to know more?
Would you like to know more? Oh, man. Fuck.
So how far
That's
into this?
probably
So good.
one of my favorite things in this movie.
Yeah, would
Right?
you like to know more?
That was
bits?
so weird. Every time it came up, I was like, this is a very interesting choice. But the longer it went on and the more I read into what was going on, I was like, this is so smart. I loved that.
How far into
No,
it
it
were
never-
you like, oh, this is not only like a military propaganda movie, it's the most military propaganda
Yeah.
movie that it could be.
Wasn't long.
Okay.
Wasn't long. Probably I got hints of it when he started talking about enlisting, that kind of thing, and then when he's like when he goes up to the guy at the desk and he's like, oh, where are you enlisting? And he goes, mobile infantry. He goes, oh, it's the man who made me, or mobile infantry made me the man I am today. And he's got the prosthetic arm and no legs. I go, oh, okay, I get what this is going for. And then that just ramps up once they get to boot camp and the rest of the movie. And I loved every second of it, man. I loved every second of it.
Yeah, I think it's really when the guy gets his head blown off in boot camp that you're
Boot
like,
camp.
oh man, this isn't your typical like sci-fi Star Wars, even like a Star Trek, kind of movie. This is we're colonizing the world movie.
Yeah.
And I love the great bits where like there's like the guy's like, it's inconceivable that bugs could have brains, or like I find the whole thing ridiculous.
The talk show.
And what's so funny is that was made in '97, and I could.
It's so on the money.
That feels like so perfect for today. That interview
For sure.
right? That slapped me in the face too. I don't even know where to start. There's so much to unpack here. I guess we could just go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, I guess there's not really too much spoilers. You know what I mean? The only thing that I do kind of hate myself for is I read the fucking description on Hulu before I clicked the title. Play it, and I'm mad, so I knew bugs were involved.
Okay.
Like, that's the only thing where I was like, oh man, I wish I didn't read that. I should have just fucking went in and clicked play. But outside of that, though, still super fun, man. It's I was surprised at how gory it was, to be completely honest with you, though.
That's pure Verhoeven. That's very Verhoeven.
Yeah. And then once this kind of starts rolling, I'm like, okay, and then you meet the army lieutenant as well. Then he just fucking throws the knife on the guy's hand.
Yeah.
like as a demonstration. And that's when it's like, this movie just has no rules.
It's no chill, dude. It is not waiting up for you.
But you got to admire that. Because we always get on here and say, like, sometimes movies are bad or sometimes movies are masterpieces or whatnot. But, like, this is a movie that knows what it is, so that makes it that much better. So, like, when you do, like, hokey or kind of corny shit, whatever term you want to use, as long as the movie kind of stays consistent with that throughout and it knows what it is, then it works. And I think this movie nails it on the head.
Real quick, you are banging on your desk, and I appreciate the enthusiasm.
You're
behind your
emphasizing.
conversation, but I can literally hear it every time.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I just wanted you to know.
Yeah.
I do like how everyone that's in the beginning of this essentially does not look like a high schooler at all.
No,
and then
no.
when you get to the end and they're Rico's Roughnecks, they all look like they're 12 years old, like they're actually in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that's even like sending it up to like these are your like idyllic American heroes, even though he's from Buenos Aires or whatever. But it's so like he has the most action man face of all time.
An action figure. He's literally an action figure in real life, and that is he's so perfectly cast for that kind of thing because he's very much what you put on a propaganda poster.
And then like you have in the other side Denise Richards, who's like the just like idyllic, angelic, like savior woman and everything too. It's just it's so smart. Like I love this movie. Important too to know.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah, important too to know. Paul Verhoeven did grow up in Nazi-occupied Netherlands, so like he definitely had a lot of like interesting, I think, views on that. And if you do look at a lot of his background as well too, he is, these are themes that come up a lot in his kind of work as well too, and in RoboCop or Total Recall as well too.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah,
I'm apparently having a party in the background. Sorry.
For audio listeners, which is all of our listeners, Tyler's lights in the background just started flashing. Check your bathroom lights as well, Tyler. You never know where it carries.
Yeah, who knows?
It might be in the bathroom now.
it saw the hue lights in mine and got jealous and was just like, we
I
can do it too.
The same thing. We could have a whole party. Blake, you should get some hue lights going in those can lights up top.
Oh, we could
possibly, man.
we could
I
get
got
that
some in
working.
the kitchen. They run underneath all the cabinets.
Yeah. My brother did that in his apartment.
Oh yeah. So I might run something up here, maybe in the bedroom. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
Tyler, you were saying something before I interrupted you.
I just have a lot of stupid questions. Just because it's fun. Are you falling in love with Carmen or Diz?
I can't help but being with Rico, man. Like obviously I think Carmen would be like the more attractive person to go after, but after she's like talking to other guys, I'd be like, shit, Diz is right there.
She does kind of suck,
right? She does. Like
and Diz dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carmen makes all the right. Like Carmen sucks, but she makes all the right calls too. Like she's doing everything right. Like they weren't gonna stay together, so she should break up with him and
Right.
go and do her own thing. And then horrible things happen to her, and she still ends up okay.
Oh, one of my favorite things that constantly comes up in this movie. Well, not constantly. It only happens once, but it's something that will always just stick in my mind, and it is Ace's transparent green violin. Right?
Oh yeah,
That he just
Very
knows how to
interesting
play
choice.
flawlessly.
Yeah.
And you can tell he is not actually playing at any point in time. He is simply moving the stick, like. And also, then I just passed this part and I forgot this happened. But when the Roughnecks have their first battle and they're celebrating, he opens the box. He goes, "Here's the entertainment." And of course, there's the same green violin.
Yeah.
Like, why would you send that to the front lines? I maybe get the footballs and stuff, but a violin. I mean,
Blake, how'd you feel when it turned the corner and Carver was sitting there, fresh off the wire with his, or it's probably before the wire with his, his
Yeah,
giant.
dude, so I was watching it, and I was like, "Oh shit, I know that guy too." And I was trying to figure out what it was, and it finally hit me. It was The Wire. But yeah, that made me enjoy the movie that much more. Like just when I get little hints like that, and I'm like, "Oh, I know what this guy's from." And this to your point, this is probably before The Wire. This is 97. I think The Wire started, 99?
I think so, yeah.
Or something like that. Maybe
98,
2000.
98, 99, yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that was just kind of another bonus thing for me where I saw that and I was like, all right, I think I like this movie. You know what I mean? As well as Denise Richards. I feel like I've seen her in something before and I don't know what it is,
I've
but her
heard the
face looks
name.
so familiar.
She's
And then I went on her IMDb and it's nothing that stood out to me.
did
She's
you ever
in Love
see
Actually.
World Is Not Enough with Pierce Brosnan, James Bond?
Mm-mm.
That's where I first saw her. She's I think she started her career, Denise Richards. I think she started her career in horror with Don't Tell Alice or Don't Ask Alice, something like that. It's a creepy movie as well.
First time I saw Denise Richards.
Wild Things?
Wild Things.
Yeah, that's probably what she's most famous for.
And
True.
did not disappoint.
I haven't seen that movie,
know
but
what
I
it
can
is.
probably get what you're referencing.
I just found it. I know what it is.
I think that's
It's
another
Scary
Paul
Movie
Ver-
3.
Oh no, it's John McNaughton. Scary Movie 3, you said?
Yep, she's in Scary Movie 3.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
believe she's the main character. So,
She dated Charlie Sheen, and I'm pretty sure that drove her crazy.
As would anybody.
yeah.
Yeah, not her
can
fault
imagine.
there.
Nathaniel, I don't know if you'd agree with me, but there's a lot here that I would love to do a bits of sizzle on.
Sure.
Yeah, you can cover this movie in two different ways. You can
Right.
unpack it in a very
And
popcorn-esque, this movie's the shit, explosions, gore,
Right.
just, very stupid-mindedly or
characters.
blindly,
Yeah.
just walking through this and still just have a blast. Or you can completely unpack the actual analysis side of it and really dive deep into this thing and find all the certain little signs, even down to the military's logo with the eagle on it. You can just go down to that and see how propaganda this movie is and just all the satire in it. And it's just, dude, this movie's just epic.
well, another thing I love is, and again, we can talk about this a lot because there's so much here to kind of unpack in this regard, because there's just so much layered on top and then so much subtly there that, again, I think that's what does it, is like all of the motifs and all of the underlying themes that this movie's trying to get at are done subtly, so that if you don't want to view them that way, you don't necessarily have to watch this movie and think about it critically, but you can have fun with it. But when you do look at it, there's a lot there to look at. But I kind of just noticed as I was watching, like their uniforms, they're fighting the bugs, but then their uniforms, and we were talking about this earlier, they make them look like ants almost.
Yep.
Like, yeah,
Yep.
and so they are actually the bugs. They are actually kind of like being the stupid ones here. Like, I think that was an interesting choice. But I would love to talk about this movie much more in depth, and so maybe we'll put a bits of sizzle on the docket for this one for anyone more interested. God, there's just so much here.
Yeah, I'm at the scene where the like the big queen bug just comes out of nowhere. And they're just like, oh shit. And it's got like the fucking flamethrower like coming out
Oh,
of
the
its head.
tanker.
Yeah.
The tanker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love the bug designs from like
Yeah,
the,
it's so
the like the arachnid looking ones to the tankers, because the tankers are just a giant beetle.
Yeah.
And then you have the like the pterodactyl ones that are like dragonflies almost, and then they have like scissor wings that are cutting people's heads off. Like that's cool too.
Michael Ironside is so good in this. Like
So good.
like,
Yeah.
you understand immediately why everyone would follow him. Like you
Right?
like he makes sense, and like you believe every single part of who he is in this movie.
Definitely. Yeah.
When he shows up later too, and he shows up and he's leading the Roughnecks, and you're just like, oh, he's here. The teacher is here. and then
you're like, of course he would actually re-enlist.
yeah. Oh, and
go
then
back.
I love to
yeah,
Zim's the one that catches the brain bug. And they're like,
Yep.
it was a private
Yep.
named Zim.
so many
Yeah, I
good
love that Ratchak's just shooting everybody. I'd expect you to do the same for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just puts
And
a
then he's
fucking
like-
bullet right through the guy's chest. Everyone's looking around like,
Yeah,
Oh,
like, why
shit.
didn't you shoot the bug?
that shit
And
was
then
funny.
when he's getting like sucked through the floor, he's like, "You know what to do."
I'm actually
Just
at that part
plugs
right
him in
now.
the chest.
Which I thought was weird because we see multiple people with no legs in this movie. Like, why couldn't they pulled him out? Like, why couldn't they just get him onto the chopper? They had to shoot him.
Oh,
Like,
well.
if you can survive in this world with no legs and no arms, like, I don't feel like it'd be unrealistic to just
I
pull.
think
him
it
back
may
to
have
the
been below the
chopper.
waist, or I mean, like just at the waist.
I just watched it. Like I said, it looked like they were just stubby, but I don't know.
He asked him to, all right? He'd expect the same
He
from
did,
you.
yeah. He
Alright,
gave
yeah.
consent.
Maybe he was like, "Shit, I can't go back on my word now."
The brain bug is super cool.
The brain bug is wild too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, the ones that
Um,
shoot like the anti-aircraft
Yeah, the
bugs.
glowers.
Yeah,
that shoot just plasma.
yeah, the plasma out of their butts.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like
Yeah.
every time you see Neil Patrick Harris, he's more of a Nazi. Like-
Yeah, he's got the
Yeah.
long leather coattails,
Yeah.
and his hat is basically the same thing. And I like that interaction they have when they're on the ship after they push Diz's space coffin out into space, and he's there, and he's like, "I make decisions every day," and he's like, "We're friends, but like, I got a fucking job to do here."
Yeah. And also, I thought it was funny that beat at the end when he's like telepathically like communicating with the brain, and he goes, "He's afraid," and they all cheer.
Yeah.
Oh, finally. Oh man.
Yeah, there's that scene like mid movie where it's like it's one of those commercials, and it's do you think you're psychic?
yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe you are. And then
Yeah.
his third eye appears on his
Yeah.
forehead.
Yeah. Those bits were so good too.
It's an incredible movie, man. I will tell every single person to watch this movie, and if you haven't seen it, I will be more than happy to sit down and watch it with you.
I really don't know what kind of person wouldn't enjoy this movie. That's another thing.
People that don't like gore.
My girlfriend.
yeah.
Okay, maybe.
That's true.
I don't know. I just feel like there's parts of this that anybody can enjoy.
Yeah,
Like,
if you're
say
a
you don't like
movie,
sci-fi, say you don't like the action movie part, but there's still actually like a good set of characters and a good story in between them. That can make it enjoyable for people who wouldn't typically like this movie.
And I think it's got rewatchability too, because once you kind of
I'm like
100%.
rewatching it, and I'm like having a hard time conversing with you guys because I just want to be looking at the screen. Like I've been looking at
Yeah.
the screen, rewatching this movie with the subtitles this entire podcast because I just want to keep rewatching it.
Seth Gilman is probably one of my favorite parts too. Sugar Watkins, when they're like in the final cave and they're just piling up arachnid bodies,
yeah,
and he goes down and he just like, "Give me the nuke," and like, I promise you, honestly, swear to God, goosebumps literally every single time where he's just sitting there spraying. You like that? You like
Yeah.
that? And dude, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's a fucking hero.
Right?
You're trying to be a hero, Watkins? Trying to kill some bugs, sir. Yeah, he is, man. He really is. Yeah,
a lot of
that's
good lines in this too. I love when Michael Ironside just turns. He goes, they sucked his brains out. Like,
Yeah.
that's another great line.
You want to
Dude,
live
the
forever,
design
you
of the brain
apes?
bug when you see the thing come out and then you just see him ram it right into the
Oh my
top of
God,
the head of the
yeah.
guy, and then you just see the brains coming through like the straw.
Practical
like the first time I saw that, I was
effects.
like, "Holy shit!"
That was cool.
And that's another effect. Looks great.
Practical effects
Yeah.
don't age. They always look good. Keep them coming, folks. And they're
It's just
cheaper.
funny though that the brain is destroyed at that point, but somehow it's still getting information from it.
Don't worry about it. Don't think about it too much.
You don't know how these bugs work. Maybe he can digest the information.
I will never be critical of this movie.
That was a great wordplay, by the
Never.
way.
What
like
was the
that?
wordplay? I missed it.
Adam,
He can
digest information.
the information.
Like that, yeah.
Thank you. Dude, I want to keep talking about this movie, and I think we should in a bit of sizzle because I would love to unpack this with you guys.
With the lads.
as far as like the underlying themes, but there's just like too much to get into and like too
Right,
much to go through for an hour and a half. We'll call it maybe 2-hour podcast, because I could do like a whole 2-hour podcast of this movie, just a full
Yeah.
review.
This movie's awesome, man. There's
Yeah.
there's no way around it. This movie's awesome.
God damn it, I want to watch it.
Okay, let's rank her up
So if
there.
if you guys wanted a my full thoughts on the movie, let's just say my 4K is already on the way.
There we go.
It actually isn't. I'm just kidding, but I already looked
You're-
to make sure there was a 4K available, and there is, and I will be purchasing it as soon as I have the funds to do so. But I'm currently still a broke college student. So anyway, welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast. We're gonna go ahead and rank I'm gonna do it again. Starship Troopers, up upon the Entropy list. For those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. This is essentially how we rate our movies, rather than do it out of 5 stars, out of 10, whatever it is. We throw up all the movies we review on a list and see how they compare to one another. If you'd like to view the Entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description, where it is linked to my Letterboxd. Okay. Starship Troopers.
Where do you think it's going? Top half, bottom half.
Top half, 100%.
Are
Okay.
you crazy?
And if it,
Hey,
it's
I'm
not,
narrowing it down for him. We're walking it in.
I'm like shooting this so far up. 17.
17.
Below Dune,
Alright.
above Judas and the Black Messiah. And you know what? I don't even feel bad about it.
That's fair,
I don't-
man.
I don't think you should.
Yeah.
I don't. I think that because Dune and above, I think Dune is another one of those kind of benchmarks, and everything above Dune is just incredible.
Yeah, I can see that on the list.
And then below is still like very good, and you have Dunkirk there, Kill Bill, Training Day, like great movies. But this is just so well done, and the fact that it's 25 years old and is aged as well as it has is just another testament to how good it is. And man, I just like the fact that I want to rewatch this movie after I watched it 2 days ago. Like, wow, that says a lot too. So 17 for me.
Okay. Do you want me to go next since it's my first watch?
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. I don't know if I'm 17 high.
Mm.
We wait.
You know what? I'll go.
With bated breath.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my philosophy from last week with ranking Blade, and obviously Blade got pushed down because it's an accumulation of all of our votes. But I looked at Tokyo Drift, right, rated on fun factor, things of that nature, and honestly, I think I like this more than Tokyo Drift. I think I like this more than Pig. At Kill Bill Volume 2, I'll probably draw a hard cap though, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it at 32.
32. Okay, so below Kill Bill Volume 2 and above Pig.
Yeah.
That's a pretty sizable difference between the two rankings, but again, I can respect that. I can totally that makes sense for where you would put this movie. And then I can't argue with that too much. Still high. when you look at it, this is movie 97. That's in the top third still, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think that's the same ranking I gave Blade until it got pushed around. So yeah, love the movie.
Cool.
Well, I think
Where you at, bud?
I think this week it's going to get dragged up the list because I have this at 15.
15.
Okay.
You're putting above the Batman, which I can respect, and below the Green Knight, which I can also respect.
Yeah, that's where I've got it. I'm looking at the rest of the list. I think for me, this movie is it hits a lot of my buttons. I love the directing of it. I love the action of it. I love the movie making of it all and how its story is presented, how it has these multiple angles to it. It's a complete world. It's just a lot of the things that I look for in movies. So I'm going to have it up there above Batman, below Green Knight.
Fair.
Fantastic. Tyler?
I'm dragging it up even more.
Oh, shit.
I can't break the top 10,
Okay.
but for me, this is going to hit 11.
11.
Wow, fair.
Below Your Name and above Whiplash. Knocking down quite a few movies that we enjoy. Green Room, 9 Days, Whiplash. But 11. Any specific justification?
I mean, Nathaniel really kind of hit it on top of the head. Nail on the head. I think the main thing is that the rewatchability of this movie and the fact that you can still, like, I could still watch this movie and still pick out something that I may have not have seen. I can pick up another angle from it. I just think it's so unique in the fact that you just don't get this from a lot of movies nowadays.
Or ever.
You're not getting this movie in this day and age. No way.
No, and the fact that it's still so good, and you can watch it just in so many different aspects and pretty much any time. I got to put it up there, and this will go down as one of my favorite movies.
This is,
Fair.
yeah, I'm sure upon a few rewatches, it honestly might climb up my personal list too.
Fair. And you know what? I think looking at this, I think I'm gonna, if possible, if allowed by the committee, I think I want to amend my vote.
Oh.
And it's going up, but it's not going as high as y'all got it. But I actually, once I started looking through the rest of these, I do like this more than Shang-Chi. So I would put this at 28. So I would put it below Shang-Chi or above, one after, between, Jesus Christ, between Boys in the Hood and Shang-Chi is the easiest way to
I got you.
I'd mark it there.
She said at 28, right?
Yep. Yeah. So I'd mark it there. I would put this over Shang-Chi. Kill Bill Volume 2 is kind of a hard pill to swallow, but
Still got
I'd watch
Volume
this
1.
over Shang-Chi 11 out of 10 times.
All right. So that's a 27, 28, 17, 11. And Nathaniel, you were 15?
15, yes.
For a score of 71 divided by 4 makes it a 17.75, meaning we would tie break it with Judas. Again, if the council would allow, I just want to boot Judas down the list. I would not even want to look at the other movies. I think we're going to tie break that one ourselves if everyone's cool with that.
I'm cool with it being above Judas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right.
For
So
sure.
17 it is for Starship Troopers, below Dune and above Judas and the Black Messiah. Good spot, I think.
Poor Blake. He's beaten up
That's
2
what
weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a
No.
row.
I'm looking at the list and I'm like, I can live with that. I don't have any hard commitments to Judas and the Black Messiah. You know what I mean?
I'm sure.
So
What is Kill Bill Volume 1? Is that the one that you?
yeah, that
That's the
kills
one
me.
that kills
Man.
That
That
one,
kills-
both the Kill
That's
Bills
going to be
sit
pushed out of
down-
the top 25 at one point,
Yes.
which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, both the Kill Bills.
What are we going to do when we have like
slipped
300 on this list, though? Like, there's still
Yeah.
there's still things that I'm like, that like if we go to, like if we ever do like Jurassic Park, I'm like, guys, I'm making my most compelling argument for number one.
Yeah, that's an immediate top of the
Yeah.
list. The Lord of the Rings, immediate top of the list.
Right.
Like, there's so many different things that we could put on here. This list is not even close. Like, we're still in its infancy.
So we're gonna be like top
No,
one,
you're right.
top 100 is a fucking murderer's row, bro.
Yeah. One day you're right. But for now, I'm
Okay.
looking at that. I'm like, man. But yeah, cream of the crop.
I
That's what
always
they say,
forget.
so yeah.
Oh, never mind. We're out of spoilers.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. But that's the only thing that kills me is seeing Kill Bill at now outside of the 20.
Maybe we get big enough. We do a referendum. We do a reorder of the top 100 or something.
I've talked about doing a referendum.
Maybe one day.
We need to get Tenet lower. All right, we need to get Tenet lower, and I think.
Bro, y'all gotta rewatch that, man.
I have, Blake. I
gotta
have.
rewatch it.
Tyler and I are gonna rewatch it. We're gonna come out on Blake's side. We gotta get Blake one back here. We gotta boost one of his up.
I'm telling you, yeah.
High tension ain't moving, Blake. All right, don't even think about it.
Yeah, I know that much. I know that.
The Descent, though. The Descent, we could probably boost a little higher.
In mind, I maybe would have to rewatch High Tension. I don't see it moving much for me, but it might be better than Project Power. It's at 93.
Jesus Christ.
Hey,
yeah.
But you know what? American Pickle is still very bottom of the list.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think we're gonna be hard pressed to find something worse than that. We'd have to intentionally try.
You'd be surprised.
Hey, Morbius was out there.
We'd have to intentionally try. I think Morbius could have done it, though. To be honest with you, to be honest with you, I think that's definitely pushing Justice League ish.
Oh yeah, it's got to be right.
Definitely. So that's 90 and below for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is it for our ranking and our review. Our next review is going to be The Lighthouse, which is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. This is going to be a bit of a precursor for a movie we're all very excited about, The Northman, which is going to be coming to theaters not this Friday, but next Friday.
Yeah. We were just talking about the top of the top and Entropy list. I mean, I think we might have two back-to-back pushing the top 30. You know what I mean?
We'll
I don't
see,
know.
Man. Northman reviews have been good. Lighthouse is good. I just don't know. That's gonna be an interesting one to rank. I'm obviously gonna have to wait to see and watch it first before I decide. But
have you seen The Lighthouse?
I haven't. So everything I know of it, though, I've heard.
I have not either.
Unique.
Really? Okay. Yeah. That'll be an interesting one to rank then, for sure.
That's what I'm thinking too. So we'll have to see on that one. But yes, go ahead, check out The Lighthouse. Like I said, streaming on Amazon Prime, and join us for our review next week. 5-star review, Nathaniel?
We certainly do. Folks,
Fantastic.
The way our 5-star reviews work here on Back Row Banter is if you give us a 5-star review, we will read it out on the podcast. You can say whatever you want in the 5-star review. It could be mean, it could be funny, it can be nice, it can be, I don't know, it can be salty, whatever you want it to be.
Rude.
Yeah, it can be a little rude. I'll accept a little rude. Just don't be evil. No evilness. But as long as it's 5 stars, we will read it out. If it's not 5 stars, not going to happen. Sorry. So for this week, we have one from bkuda16, who gives us 5 stars. Thank you very much, bkuda. And it says, don't know what I'd do without this pod, I'm guessing, or without you, maybe. They do get cut off on there, and I don't know how to read the rest of it, so whatever. But the rest of the podcast, the rest of the review goes as such. I'm going to start this over. This podcast provides me with the happiness and fulfillment I need daily to get through my 9 to 5. Thanks, man. Never do these guys ever fail to make me laugh, especially Adam. Adam, you funny dog. I've also learned a lot, too, from listening all these years. Keep them coming, boys.
You know what? I laughed at years, but fuck, we've been doing this a while. We're almost at episode 100.
That's true.
Back Row Banter, I think I said this at the new year, has spanned now 3 calendar years. We started in 2020. We made it through 2021, and now we're into 2022.
Yeah.
There you go,
It's
Bo.
kind of crazy to say.
So, yeah, if you want to have something like that read out on the podcast, all you got to do is drop us a 5-star review. You can do it in Apple Podcast, or we haven't checked the other ones, but we will one day at some point.
You know what? I checked the YouTube comments.
Oh.
We have a comment from 2 weeks ago, so it took me a second to check them, but I went and checked. This is a comment on our 9 days review all the way back in February. This comes from Tristan Ray, Mr. Slothow Rev. Quite the name. He says, deja vu. Think about it. Those times something sparks a memory or feeling in us that we don't understand why or what brings us back to a moment we can't recall, but it's so familiar to us. What if that's what watching those moments play out? What if that's what from watching those moments play out on the TV screen they watch? 9 days is great because it makes you talk about it. I've recommended this movie and told the people it's truly a movie based on your own views of it. It's a perfect movie and worth watching many times to see things you missed. Watch Duke's performance at the end again, and notice how he starts off the recital emotionless and empty of life or feeling, and at the end he is full of life and feeling so much he changed during that play he was reciting. It goes with what you'll see. It goes with what you'll said he was maybe the. Oh, I gotta keep going. Hang on, it's long. Okay. It goes with what you'll said he was maybe the one born again in a way. Amazing movie. I think he's talking about what we were referencing. But yeah, thanks for commenting, and I definitely agree. I think Deja Vu is definitely something that kind of sparked my interest a little bit when watching that, for sure. I don't know if I mentioned that on pod, but there's also a line in that movie where he talks about how like a kid once remembered who he was when he was young, and he doesn't know like why that happened.
I do remember
and then
that.
he soon forgot after. Yeah, so that kind of goes along those lines too. It's like maybe we do sometimes when we remember things, it's from like a past life or the in between, whatever that is that comes before or after. So yeah, definitely a good point. Definitely something that came to my mind while watching that for sure.
For sure. Yeah, 9 Days, great movie. That's actually one I spoke with Alex, the gentleman I was telling you about earlier, just about a movie from 2021. And I told him that 9 Days was my favorite movie I saw last year. So he said he's going to put that on his watch list and get to it, as well as another person I was talking to at the birthday. So yeah, nonetheless, that's a very palatable movie. Great movie. You can recommend it to anybody. I think most people would be like, this is fucking awesome when they finish watching it. So shout out 9 Days.
Yeah. And thank you for leaving a comment on our YouTube. If you have not checked out our YouTube, you should really do so. It's free to subscribe, as most YouTube channels are. And even if it's not your primary place listing, we would much appreciate the subscription. And maybe you decide to throw us on while you're scrolling through your YouTube. You decide, hey, forgot about these guys. Maybe I'll give them a play. You know, keep it on in the background. It's a static image as of now. We don't have video yet. Bit of sizzle. What else here? Share the podcast. Share with a friend, a family member, a fellow member of the Mobile Infantry, or the Rico Roughnecks, or Rajak. Is that was his name?
Rajak.
Yeah, you know, maybe you're on the planet Klandathu. You got a little relaxation time. You're throwing the good old, what was that, jump ball?
Jump ball. Yep.
Yeah, you're throwing the good old jump ball around, and you just want someone to listen to the background because that green violin's annoying as shit. So put us on, you know. Might get some entertainment. You can follow the show. Follow us on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod, and like I said, our YouTube, it's just Back Row Banter. And our email for any questions, comments, concerns, or grievances, anything of that sort, is backrowbanterpod at gmail.com. BlakeHolder, where can the people find you at, my man?
Letterboxd, BlakeHolder. I'll be on there logging some things. You can keep up with me weekly. Usually I try to log them the day I watch them. If not, I'll just end up logging them all on Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day we record. But yeah, we'll be on there. Haven't fallen in love with anything lately to give a review, so we'll see. We'll see what does the trick on that. But nonetheless, that's about it. Letterboxd, BlakeHolder. How about you? We'll go to Nathaniel.
What up, folks? You can find me at Nathaniel. No, you can't find me there. You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at NSKingrick. You can find me on Instagram at NathanielG92. Sandpiper Tapes, that's my other podcast. Working on some stuff for it all the time. And, yeah. Tyler, where can the people find you?
Twitch.tv/UltraBajo87. I'm actually about to go live in about 10 minutes here. So, bit of sizzle. And then Letterboxd, Instagram, and Twitter are all Tyler Vidalis, VIDALES. Adam?
You can find me on Twitter at Aish24, on Letterboxd at Aish, and on Twitch pretty often nowadays at twitch.tv/Aish. That's it for me, and I think that's it for this app. Thank you all for listening, especially if you made it this far. You're my favorite type of listener, and we really do appreciate all of your support. Join us next week for episode 99, The Lighthouse, and we'll BRB.
Be excellent to each other, everyone, and we will BRB.
Thanks for stopping by. Please like, comment, subscribe. Do whatever you got to do to help us grow. We appreciate anything very much so. But most importantly, we appreciate you. And just be good to one another. And we'll BRB.
Thanks for listening. As always, we appreciate the support. As I always say, if you're doing one thing you love every day, then you're doing it the right way. We'll see you next week. BRB.
ready for another lesson?
We are recording.
Fantastic.
Well, at least you
no,
didn't.
Qdoba's definitely, and I'm going to repeat myself, Qdoba's definitely better than Chipotle.
You're insane.
It's just
I haven't.
not
I haven't had. I don't think I've had Qdoba since I stepped foot off my college campus, which is now 2017. That's the last time I had Qdoba.
That's
'Cause
funny.
we had no
I
Chipotle.
wish my college campus had a Qdoba.
No way, dude.
So much
That's
better.
crazy. What makes you feel that way? Granted, I'm a picky eater though, so I'm only putting rice, meat, corn, cheese on my shit. But
Sure.
what
You don't
makes
even do
feel that way?
fajita veggies, bro?
No, I don't,
Oh
dude.
my gosh.
I know, man.
How do you not?
It's
It's
crazy.
literally just
I-
vegetables and salt. It's like the best. And
So,
fried.
What would you recommend me throwing on there next then for the next Chipotle run? If you could ease me into one thing,
Fajita veggies.
the fajita
is
veggies.
definitely
Yeah, it's just
All right.
it's bell peppers and onions.
The onions can be a little overwhelming, but
Yeah, that's what gets
but-
me.
yeah, but at least they're not like raw. They do cook them
Okay.
down a little bit, but I would say the green peppers though, the green like bell peppers or sweet peppers or whatever they use, those are definitely a crucial
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, those add flavor too.
Do honestly have to agree with Adam though.
What?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What makes you feel that way? Is it the meat? Is it the queso?
Yeah, I
The
think for
queso,
me
for
is
sure.
pretty
Queso's
much
a
every
big one.
time. Yeah, so like the queso is definitely better,
Okay.
and you can
fair.
even do.
And they don't charge for it on when you get it on something. They don't charge for extra. You don't charge for queso or guac when you get it on your like bowl or burrito or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I didn't know that.
And their queso is better than Chipotle's by a mile. And then their guacamole is good. It's not like amazing, but it's good. And I don't think
Sure.
Chipotle's guacamole is exceptional either.
I'm agnostic. I could take or leave either one of them.
Yeah.
The only
But the other thing too for me is every time I get Chipotle, it's cold.
but
It's an
That's the only time it misses, and that does happen sometimes. I'll give you
Yeah.
that.
it doesn't if you eat it in the store.
Does anybody
Yeah.
really eat there? Any like who's got time for that?
People that are hungry and want their food warm.
Pussies.
The
Not
only
gonna lie, fellas, I
Alleg-
ate my
allegedly.
Chipotle at the store. But it was warm, to my defense. So
I retract my statement.
the only white person Mexican place that I hate is the one in the London train station, which gave me food poisoning.
yeah, that
Ooh,
one.
tough.
Been there.
Those sons of bitches.
King's Cross. Don't go there, folks. I think it was like Coyote Charlie's or something like that.
Coyote Charlie's.
It's something. It does actually have a presence in America. It's not like some just knockoff store from over there, but it is like the third version of that place. They had it in a lot of colleges for a while. They put one in at North Central after I left, and I was thankful. But yeah,
That was after you left.
yeah, 6-hour train ride, food poisoning up an entire island. Not a fun experience. Don't recommend.
Yeah, that does not sound fun.
I'm surprised that food poisoning didn't turn you all the way off Chipotle. Like that's something like if I went to one place and got food poisoning and I know it from there, I'd probably just never get it.
It's just because I knew it wasn't Chipotle actually. You know, like it wasn't at one of those places. Though that did turn me off coffee forever.
Okay.
I had coffee once in college. I was like, I prepared myself. I was like, I'm going to start drinking coffee. I had my friend who got me this really good coffee. We sat together, we drank it that night, and I was like, that's awesome. Then we went out for dinner, and we went to like a stir fry place, and I got food poisoning from there too. And
Oh,
but the coffee just also came up with it, and the smell. I just couldn't drink coffee after that, and I still don't.
I
That's fair.
love coffee with a passion.
Kai is a
Yeah.
coffee person too, though, right?
Yeah, coffee's a big thing for me. I actually just had to get a new coffee maker because my apartment complex took the one away because we're under new ownership. and
The first thing they did to cut costs, take the coffee.
Was a coffee maker? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
they're gonna sell
Fuck
for a
those
profit.
guys.
I think it was because it was the old owners, and
Oh, he was just
the
like, I'm
new
taking
owners
my coffee
are-
maker.
the new owners are, I guess, are under the impression that they're gonna put a better one in there, but they're like, yeah, like the office when it first got taken out, I was like, what the fuck? And then the office was like, oh yeah, it should be like February, March, and I'm like, hello, is this thing on? And then they were like, oh well, we're doing quotes for the building to get renovations done, and they don't want to invest in that until they do all the renovations. And so I'm like, so you're talking like 6 months to a year. So I just got fucked.
What'd you buy? Just like a
I
Keurig?
literally no, I don't like Keurigs because most of the time I'm gonna drink more than one cup anyways.
Mhm.
And the second reason is unless you clean those things religiously with vinegar, you have to run like a vinegar cycle through them. So much mold builds up in those that people don't see, and it's just going into your coffee.
Mm.
I'll have to clean mine the fuck out right after this.
If you literally let it sit for like even 2 days without using it, like if you go like vacation or like if you come home or something like that and it doesn't get used, it's gonna have mold build up.
Changes.
And I'm like, fuck.
Adam's like, I haven't cleaned that shit in 3 months.
I haven't cleaned that shit since I got it, bro. I don't know what's happening. I'm fucking gonna turn into a zombie from Last of Us. Jesus
Well,
Christ.
listen, bro, it hasn't killed you so far, so
Not yet. Not yet.
you got
I'll have to
time.
pour myself another cup, I guess.
Have
Shit.
you or a loved one had mesothelioma?
You made me entitled to compensation. Yeah, that's fucking funny.
I feel
And
like we could form a pretty big class action lawsuit against Keurig for that.
I'm pretty sure they put it on their packaging somewhere that you have to like religiously clean it out with vinegar.
that feels like something
Yeah.
that like they've like made progress in now, and it shouldn't be as often at this point. Like if it was like the first round of Keurigs, I'd buy that. But like we're at like the 15th version.
How do you
now.
stop mold?
No,
15th
like,
generation.
I'm saying
Keurig.
you just make the stuff have non-mold attachments on the inside, whatever. I don't know. Like you can make plastic that's not.
Attachments.
Yeah, I'm not an engineer. I couldn't tell you.
You know those. What about those? You know those handles of the on the toilet seats that are like antimicrobial or whatever? Make it out of that shit.
My screen protector is antimicrobial. Why can't they do
Make
that?
it out of those parts, bro. Come on, Keurig, get your act
Actually,
together.
An arm and a leg for
You never
them.
know.
So
Yeah, well, remember there was that time when everyone was beating their Keurigs to death with bats because they, for some political reason.
that's me chewing ice.
No, I didn't even know that was a thing, Nathaniel, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I remember it at
People
some
beat their
point.
Keurigs, but
Yeah, it was so many news cycles ago, like 4 years. So
that's a lifetime ago when it comes to news.
right.